special assistant to His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on social media, Mr. Olusegun Dada, is here, and we are really honored to have him here despite his busy schedule, and he has to catch a flight. He has a very important event to attend to, so which is why we will need to bring him now to have a speech.
I've been following our activities from as far back as 2013, when I was just telling a friend, one of the people we were sitting together, that she was one of the first people that made CVs, digitizing CVs for young people, an actual thing on social media before it became something that every other person jumped into. And for that and for many more, I am appreciative for all you do. I'm grateful for, and I'm also grateful on behalf of Mr. President that you have decided to honor your nation, that you decided to honor your country by coming back to give us what you've learned, to apply them in what is our motherland, because at the end of the day, we don't have any other place except this country of ours. I would like to speak of, from my own, because personally I find it very refreshing that I'm in a room with not just policymakers, but with storytellers, with journalists, creators, influencers, digital communicators, and if we are being honest, there is no policy today in Nigeria that moves without you helping it to move. The blue economy is one of the most exciting opportunities Nigeria has right now, but this challenge is simple. Many Nigerians hear blue economy and immediately tune out. It sounds big, it sounds technical, and it sounds distant from their daily reality. My job as special assistant to the president on social media is to help bridge that gap, is to turn serious policies into conversations that people care about, or people understand and also share. I will therefore be speaking on 5 roadmaps to adequately leverage on digital platforms and social media for blue economy advocacy, with the ultimate aim of engaging Nigeria's youth in Nigeria's maritime transformation. As I will take the first one. As my brother has stated earlier, when he was doing the introduction, earlier this year, we had an event, basically learning from what already works. Earlier this year, we had an event in August. That event held for 3 days in Abuja, and it was titled the Digital Media Summit, the Progressive Digital Media Summit. It had a collaboration or cooperation of over 4,000 participants in person, and over 25,000 people tuned in from all around the world to be a part of the program for the 2 days. Mr. President, let me quickly reference for those that are already familiar with it. The summit was proof that government intentionally engages the digital ecosystem. The results are powerful. The conversations before, during, and after the summit were organic, they were youth-driven, and nationwide, the content trended not because it was forced, but because people felt included. Most importantly, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, my boss, attended this summit and gave a very clear mandate that all ministries, departments of government must collaborate with my office, to project the renewed hope agenda, not just the policies, but project, opportunity, and impact stories. The directive recognizes a real new reality. Digital media is no longer an afterthought. It is central to governance. Secondly, making maritime content interesting for young people. As we are aware today's Nigeria has over 70% of the population under the age of 40 years of age, which means that predominantly every audience you will be interacting with will be an audience of young people. And one thing we know for certain, and let us be very, very honest with ourselves, sometimes like this morning, one of the reasons I came late is that you may not realize it, but we actually have a briefing from Mr. President every Monday where we sit down with him, discuss the matters of the past week, giving feedback, honest feedback on what the people are saying, on our policies, on our projects, on our accomplishments, on the areas where we need to have, a little bit of, detour. And one thing I've come to understand is that this president deliberately picked a lot of, like, Madam Roque said earlier, a lot of his people who worked with him 2 decades ago. But he also gave an opportunity for young people to be in his government. And one of the things we do every Monday is that we go through the week, we talk to the president about what has happened, what the major issues concerning the nation are, and how we can, how we can look at some policies that are generating, some issues, figure out how we can flip it or review it. And you would see one of the major things that this administration is not afraid to do is that we're not afraid to make mistakes. We're not afraid to correct our mistakes. There are several times that you would have seen a situation where, maybe a particular, list or something, and, there are complaints, valid complaints, because at the end of the day, it's not all of the criticisms that are constructive. The valid complaints we escalate to Mr. President, and we ensure ensure that we are able to get a commitment for him to review, this policy. So, to a great extent, in marketing to a young audience, you have to understand that in marketing to a young audience, you have to preserve that key part of your message. As a young man, as a kid, maybe watching late night TV news by Auntie Abike Dabiri at 9 p.m. on NTA every night. There was a particular way with which the news was delivered that it made it very understandable and enjoyable for the generation of our parents. But that same generation today, many of our young people do not have. It's not that we hate the truth. The honest thing is that young people do not hate information, they just hate boring information. Our attention deficit is about 30 seconds at the highest. Instead of saying what efficiency reforms, because when young people hear things like this, their brain just switches off. It's not that they are not interested, it's just that this language is too technical. We can instead show a short video of how goods move faster at the ports. A video of a young Nigerian working in logistics explaining what they do in 30 seconds. Whether you accept it or not, this is where today's world has gotten. I'm very sure a lot of us have social media accounts, TikTok, Instagram, X, and you see how young people have been able to harness these platforms for good and for bad sometimes, to be able to spread the word on issues or matters that are important to them, from music to arts to social political opinion to social good and all of that. We have to come down to the level of the average Nigerian youth and speak in their language, which means that we cannot continue to assume that, because the news is boring, then we are not interested in it. Every single facet of our life is important to me. Now, we also need to figure out how to tell the stories. A fisherman, or for the want of a better word, aquaculture entrepreneur. As young people, we love big titles. We love amazing buzzwords that make us feel up there. So when people call themselves CEO, and then you say you are CEO of what, and the man will be like, well, I'm a CEO of a startup, chief executive officer. These are important positions. So we need to figure out how to break it down in ways that young people will understand. Simplifying the blue economy on social media. The truth is that blue economy is not complicated at all. We just explain it in complicated ways. Social media gives us a chance to break it down. Now, as somebody who is the president's image maker on social media, one of the major questions I hear every time I post about maybe a particular government policy or achievement is, how does this affect the price of rice? Thank you. So I'm very sure you are probably one of those that left that comment. And but what this does for us is that we should be able to use to explain and break down blue economy. How does C put food on our table? It is very, very straightforward. There are a lot of young people today who predominantly live on logistics. Like they don't know it, but right now the biggest industry that young people have is not really social media. Is logistics, because everybody and their friend and their sister and their brother is either a makeup artist, or they import something from China, they import something from this one, but all of these things pass through where? The sea. So to a great extent, if you are eating anything foreign, a ship probably brought it to you, which means that you have to be interested in blue economy to understand how this sea puts food on the table. Why pots matter to the price of rice? Because sometimes you see people say, hey, so how does that concern the price of rice? It does. So if the way and manner with which we conduct our ports are done much better, the price for customs import reduces to a great extent, and that is what we have been witnessing. As at this,
essentially, for us what we want to do is to stimulate interest in inland waterways navigation. That is, instead of moving on the road, move on water, especially for bulky goods like what you just said now, yam and some other things. If this happens, it will do a lot of things. Reduce the risk of the road and the pressure, and also the accidents that usually follow. That is just now. But B as a B, investments in water is so massive that government cannot, and I don't think they will ever be able to carry it. So the need for this kind of Parley is very, very essential. Just for the infrastructures alone, for waterways transportation, is going into trillions. And the major part of it is what the one we call capital dredging. We are supposed to dredge 2,000 kilometers for the 4 years of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration. And the funniest thing is that we've not been given a penny. Nothing has been appropriated in the budgets for us. So we've been on the lookout for people who can sponsor this capital dredging so that inland waterways transportation will be easier. And another thing that has been so much in the news concerning us is inland waterways reserves, both capsizing and some other things happening. But I will say in the last 2 years, we've done intensive sensitization and enlightenment on the need to use life jacket for anybody who is traveling inside the boat. And also, not just using life jacket, nobody should travel on boat by night because there is no headlamp or anything for you to see where you are going. And sometimes this causes accidents. These are some of the things we are doing that government is spending massively up. And the result is showing, because the issue of waterway accident has seriously reduced, and we will continue to monitor what they do, where both carry people and cargo and some other things. For what the CEO of Maritime Innovation Hub said, we are on our way out. Let me call in the new people in NEWA who are carrying the torch forward. So let me call my colleague, Dr. Shuaib, to come and speak on the investment we expect for people to do on inland waterways.
We have been given opportunity now to become very, very innovative in making sure that we make progress by the opportunity given to us now in Nigeria today under the leadership of the Honorable Minister of Blue and Marine Economy. We in NEWA has the mandate to control, manage, and sustain all activities on all inland waterways that span across 28 states of the Federation. For the investors here, investors might want to ask, what is the attraction? What are the highlights? What are the new things that NEWA is bringing on board to attract investments? I will briefly give some of the highlights we have here. NEWA has in place to drive private investment in water transportation. One, we have clear legal and statutory framework. NEWA is established by an act of the National Assembly. Provide Cap N47 LFN 2004. It's a statutory powers to grant permits, concessions, and give licenses to operators that will expand opportunities and create jobs on inland waterways, which is enormous. We also leverage on bankable PPP concession frameworks. NEWA activities promotes public-private partnership for ports, jetties, and other maritime logistic hubs and waterfront infrastructure development. Our concession models also align with ICRC guideline, offering clarity for sharing what we need to do, to ensuring that National Inland Waterways Authority brings a new vista to the development of maritime infrastructure in Nigeria. We are also flexible. We have flexibility in place to build, operate, and transfer by our investors. It is designated in NEWA that National Inland Waterways Authority has the key 3 inland river ports now. We have one in Oguta in Imo State. There is a Barrow port in Niger State. There's also an ongoing thriving inland river port now in Onitsha, which is in Anambra State. All these are key assets that will attract investors to come and invest in National Inland Waterway to develop some of these key projects.
I've talked about BlackRock. We'll be working with FRS chairman and the minister himself in bringing him in. He's bringing back some of his investments into the country. There are some expatriates that, every of these conversations are at different level. So it was important also for the media to do their work and let these things go out. And from here till now, till then, from today, then the momentum doesn't stop. So people can say, we are not seeing what you are talking about. The Minister for Works, they said the port access road in and out of Apapa And so how do we avoid 12, 15 years ago when we were talking about Lekki, that Lekki was going to become another papa. It looks as if it's far. Lekki is already becoming a papa. People are having problems now because of refinery. And they say another refinery is coming up. Are we supposed to have built Lekki phase 1 and Lekki phase 2? We're supposed to have built rail. So other states that are now building deep sea ports and all this, what lesson can they learn from Lagos failure? And how do they try not to repeat those problems? So Minister for Works is important to that conversation. Minister for Power had a pause. We've talked, most of these things they've been saying it from the onset. Power, 24-hour port operation, Lomé, Togo, Cote d'Ivoire, they are doing it. Nigeria can't do it. You say you want to achieve $1 trillion GDP. How? So that's why we are bringing all those ministers. So it's not an assemblage of people for no reason. There are reasons for participating. It's in their letter and they are responding. Keep moving. Just a very quick overview. The media is going to have the program. Keep moving. They've all received their letters. Follow up is what we are on now. I think Sadiq Olofi, we may not be able to join this conversation. I don't know. We are having problem with connectivity.
Gratitude goes to the convener of this all-important summit for giving us the opportunity and the platform to be able to explain some of the few things that NUA is doing and have been able to accomplish these past years. It's part of the paucity of fund releases from the federal government. NUA, as you know, is a very strategic agency of the federal government that is responsible to midwifing the management, control, and investment of all inland waterways across the country. We have a very large spread. NUA has about 21 area offices across the country. And you also know that it will also interest you to know that NIWA, National Inland Waterways, or the Inland Water Network in Nigeria connects about 28 out of the 36 states. That is a very huge potential for investors to come in and develop. When it is properly harnessed and developed, it will reduce a lot of wreckages that happens on our road. It will also ensure low carbon emission transportation system. Inland waterway has a lot of potentials. Like if you go to some of the developed economies of the world, and particularly US, the money that is made from Mississippi River is enough to make annual budget of 3 African countries.
So what we are here to do is to enlighten the people as it concerns the privileges and the industry, which is not known to a lot of people in this country, that there's a very lucrative industry in this sector of the maritime. First, I want to thank Mr. President for establishing the Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy, because this is a sector that has been neglected for a very long time. Apart from the cabotage financing, the ministry has not, the department, the maritime sector in Nigeria has not done well at all as a result of no good exposure of people knowing what is supposed to be doing in that industry. Today, we are here with the intention to enlighten people what the maritime industry is all about. It's not about just only Nimasa and the inland waterways. Everything that has to do with the ocean, from the Atlantic Ocean to the inland waters, is a wonderful, lucrative business that people don't know, Nigerians don't know about. The foreigners are people who are helping Nigerian industries carry out these activities. So all we know is inland waterways, what is happening between our creeks, what is happening in our international waters, where industries are making a lot of money in dollars. Every business that is taking place in that sector is discussed in dollars. And Nigerians are very few participating in this sector. And this is what we want to bring to the attention of Mr. President as it concerns how that sector should be looked into, not to allow such sector being manned and managed by foreigners.
I'm looking at from Lokoja all to this way. If goods are transported through this same very way,
what are we going to gain? Imagine in Egypt alone, what they benefit through Suez Canal. Can you imagine what it is? If only we know how to handle these things. You find out at the end of the day, we are making so much money for the economy. So, but leaving it just the way it is, it doesn't really work. Just dredging through Lokoja to River State and Lagos, you know what that means for the country. So, but what we do as divers is that we'll support NIWA in removing all the wreckages on the riverway, on the waters, so that vessels can pass freely without damaging their vessels. That's what divers do. We go in there, burn off all the old vessels that are by the corner sites, making sure that the waterway is free. That's number one. We also stand as a rescue vessel for any accident on the waterway. Quickly, if you call us and the boat is there, we just move there, make sure that we secure and rescue every diver that is in every accident. Just support them and bring them out of the water immediately. That is actually what's supposed to be in developed countries. And that is what we intend that NIWA, in collaboration with associations, we could stand by as a rescue in a time of need.
With a lot said, can we also look at, from your point raised earlier about overlapping functions of NIWA and NPA, can we look at a situation where we can open up the legislations? Let's see where we need to amend and repeal certain acts that hinders some of this progress some of these things that we're looking at. So there could be bottlenecking where a very slippery slope where NIWA says that okay, we can do this. However, when we get to NPA, it becomes a problem because there's another law, that they bar them from doing certain things. So they do it to a point and stop, right? And then it's over to NPA again. So can we look at those legislations on both sides and see where we can engage the relevant Senate committee to repeal certain act that make it easy to boost investors' confidence? Because when you look at all of these things that we're talking about, these are part of the challenges that will scare investors away. And then the time that it takes, for when you want to pass a legislation and you put in your money. So uncertainty is one of those things that will scare a lot of people away. So like your sector that you did mention now, there has to be, beyond policies, there has to be a lot of body of work that would have been done, so nobody wants to. It's just like you're talking about exploration and exploitation. Imagine the amount of money. I mean, this is not winning oil block. When you get an oil block, you are certain that an area has been carved for you. You can now put your money and risk it all. But the situation where you are going into the oblivion, it's like going into darkness, so you don't know where you're going. You understand? And you expect that, people come and invest their money in there. So I think we need to look into some of these things.
Like what you were saying, there is no way we can work alone as an authority. Not just with your organization. There's no way. I said there is no way NIWA can work alone. We have to work with everybody. You divers, the MPA, NIMASA, Shippers Council, even with other stakeholders. Like what I wanted to say before that issue came up was there is need for us to have attitudinal change, the way we look at issues. Irrespective of the law setting up all these organizations, I believe we can find a common ground to take the country forward. So we should exploit this more instead of being very stubborn or obstinate about our position. In a situation where we know if we yield, it's going to be to the country's advantage, I believe we can do that. So not just on the part of the stakeholders, also on the part of the populace, the masses. Most people are afraid to travel on water. So we need to continue to sensitize and enlighten people that waterway transportation is safer than the road. The moment you abide with the rules and regulations guiding your movement on it, you are okay. In case there is an accident, if you have the life jacket, you will float until you are rescued. That one can happen on the road. So these are some of the things we need to emphasize and re-emphasize to the citizens and to the stakeholders that we need to collaborate and get things done in a better way. Thank
There are a lot of conversations to have, and we cannot continue to shift the blame game. It's high time we take responsibility ourselves, and we have to do the hard work. And representing the youth constituency as well, I'll continue to engage with Dada Olusegun and the PBAT media team, because for us, this is an opportunity that we have been given to sit at the table, and we are going to grab it with both hands. So,
Video I watched, the thing keep touching my heart about these young youths that try to transport their yams, and water is disturbing their canoe. I want to know, is it the responsibilities of NIWA to produce a canoe for such young youths around them, especially that local area? I'm a member of Western International. I know that when we are doing any of our end of year something, we do donate a canoe to all these rural women. And if we can do that, why can't NIWA donate a simple canoe? I know it's very expensive, but at least help the rural ones around them. And again, if a minister, our minister recently traveled to the 36 states, at least average of 20 states or more, and donated these life jackets to save life. If we can do that, why can't NIWA help the youths around them?
I cannot donate within both, because what we are trying to do now is to phase it out, just like they did to the Molo in Lagos. It's obsolete, it's archaic. But the thing is, we will go into a modern way of transporting all these goods you are talking about that will even be easier for the people concerned. So that is what we are looking into, and we believe with time we'll be able to do it. Thank you.
And this thing was talking to me, the manufacturer also, that they were going to make it. It's going to take 20 something days, and then later they say it will be delivered earlier. And when they finished, do you understand? They say it's been sent by FedEx in 5 different packages, and I should make sure I see the 5 packages. Meaning both are not for the specification of something that I saw on Amazon. The person is talking to me from America, and it has arrived. Do you understand? And before that, I had bought things. If you've been to my house, you see things. It's not as if I have money. I'm doing some research on behalf of Nigeria. If all the people in Abuja are ordering on their phone furniture from Kugbo Hello, Kugbo people can send them a message and say this is the specification, and they deliver at your door. It's a value chain. Meaning, sir, how do I cannot buy if things get to the post like you are saying?
You can ship them. Our problem is
no. When you ship, sir, can I move from Apapa to Boni that you say in 2 days?
in 1 day, in 6 hours.
Buy things in America.
Yes.
They will tell you tomorrow. Before you know, evening, they will send you dispatches on the road. The logistics is so convenient.
2 things: the deliberate act of the government.
The deliberate act of the government.
And the finance.
So internally, if you don't do what NIWA is saying and what you are saying, that's why your shipping lines does not want to come.
I think I have to say.
Are you there, sir? Yes. This is economic conversation. How do you make it easier for things to come to your country, and it gets there inside the country? It can move
on the waterway.
In their coast.
In their coast, they have a straight water coast that enter into the town. So, and I told him that I have something like that. I would like to partner with him in Nigeria. He asked me 2 questions. Where to where?
Are you listening?
I'm listening.
He asked me where to where will he fly the boats. So I now said that Lokoja to Port Harcourt. So even that's even the question I was trying to ask him now. Say, is Lokoja to Port Harcourt or through Owerri or anywhere? Is it true? He said only on high tide.
It's not navigatable.
No. I know what I'm trying to say. And I'm talking to you, and I have a partner. Not tomorrow, yesterday. We were talking. No. The reason I'm trying to make this is because the money we want to make is in our foot. It's not far from us. It's just for us to take the necessary legislations.
I can send this conversation to the minister.
and dredge that place. At once we dredge that place, the companies will come because they are looking for business to do, and they are partnering with us to get it done. They want to come. The vessels are there. But some of them don't even have goods to carry for whole 30 days. Their boats don't even make one trip. So why would they see where they will make 1,000 trip and will not come? They want to come. So I want to say that this dredging issue on this internal waterway should be put newer.
Not only newer, the only place that is being dredged daily in this country is Lagos and Bonny River. And the reason is because of the seaport. It's happening not just for only in the Nimas, it's happening in their country. The dredging problem is a big deal. If you don't dredge those channels in 1 year, the channel will close. You understand? So they are dredging. Even LNG now is having problem to get dredgers to dredge the channel for vessels to come and bat and load gas. Seplat and LNG, their neighbors, all of them are in the same Bonny Island. Sand is blocking the place. Federal government will only dredge the channel. They will not dredge their own side. So they are putting up advertisement to get a dredging company to dredge the area. It's a big problem. So the idea, then secondly, for another information, the channels, internal roads coming to Lokoja and all the rest, it's not a tidal river. It's a one-way river. Yeah. So there's no tide. The only time the water goes up is when there is rain. But some of them, they are experts, but they don't understand it. They are experts, but they don't understand. Yes, but they don't understand that it's not a tidal water. Tidal water is where the ocean goes and comes. So you wait when it's high tide, you now move. This particular area, the water is one way. It's just coming from Niger to pass to River Niger and end up in Niger Delta. There's no time the water will ever go up. The only time the water goes up is when it rains heavily. When it rains heavily and the dam overflow, the water now comes up. Otherwise, the water is a one way. So it's not called tidal water.
We are one family now, and the conversation has started, and it has to continue. We will not stop because we have a vision. You know, we are building this towards the event in March that will take place at the Eco Hotel, where we expect that the people who will be in the room to listen to some of these challenges that we have thrown open and proffer solutions, you know, to pull out the funds wherever it will be on the table on that day, you know, to do justice to some of these things. So on behalf of the Maritime Innovations Hub, I say a very big thank you for honoring this invitation and attending this media parley, and we look forward to further engaging you. Thank you very much.